What's good, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys in another video. Today I'm going to be discussing the new Sky Striker Link monster that was revealed as a manga promo over in the OCG. Now, with cards like this, there's no real indicator of when we'll get it, as it is a manga promo. It could be in Duelist Nexus. It could be come 2 years from now. So there's really no telling when we'll get this card, but is it potentially the next Verte? I think so. And we're going to discuss that today. So the new Sky Striker Link monster, her name is Sky Striker Ace Camellia, and her effect reads as follows. So she's a Link 2 with up and down arrows. So the arrows are obviously, you are giving your opponent a zone, but I don't think this thing will be sitting on the field for too long, especially when you read the effects. But having the down arrow is always nice if you want to continue to Link summon, I guess. Its materials are only 2 effect monsters, so much like Verte, this is very, very easy to summon. It does have to be Link summoned first, which doesn't really matter. You can't cheat it out with Ray, but I don't think that's going to matter, particularly in the case the fact it's so easy to summon. We'll get to what it does for Sky Striker, but you can only special summon this card once per turn. It's a pretty common. All the Sky Striker mechs have this effect. Once per turn, if you have 3 or less spells in your grave, you can send one Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. So this is basically Hayate improved in every way. Now with the caveat that you have to have 3 or less spells. So there could be some scenarios, depending on what deck you're playing, that you have just a buku of spells in your grave and this just isn't live. But this is a card you're typically going to be making, turn 1, where you don't really have a lot of spells in your grave. But even in the case for Sky Strikers, I think this is an incredibly strong opening play. So and being able to send, obviously, if you know how Sky Strikers work, you can send Engage with this. Then you turn this into a Kagari, and then fetch the Engage right back, activate the Engage, and then search whatever. Could be a Hornet Drones if you want extension into bigger Link plays. Could be a Widow Anchor if you're going second, and your opponent, you just have a monster you want to take from your opponent. The options are pretty limitless, obviously, because we do have Engage back limited in the format. And then, the second effect is kind of interesting. So if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster opponent controls, special summon it to their field, and if you do, that monster goes to the grave, and then this monster goes back to you during the end phase. So this is basically free removal. Now it does target, so there's some monsters that obviously have targeting immunity that this can't out. It's not quite a kaiju in that it just gets the monster off the field, but because it does target and it does send the monster, so things like Mirror Jade that have those kind of protection effects when they go to grave will still trigger under this effect. But I do think I'm not going to sneeze at free removal just for putting it in the grave. And the fact it shifts control back means that your opponent can't use it if you're giving it to them, but you're getting it back, so they can't use it as Link fodder on their turn. For Sky Strikers, though, the downside is that it goes to your main monster zone in that case, which means it's going to turn off your all of your Sky Striker cards. So I think that could potentially be a problem. There could be some situations where you use the removal effect in Sky Striker and it's stuck there, so your skulls are turned off. There's obviously not a way I have to figure that problem out, but I do think that there's some scenarios where that could cause problem for the deck itself. But I do think that just this effect alone, even for Sky Strikers itself, is an incredible effect. For Sky Strikers itself, it sends any Sky Striker card, so even if you don't already have Engage, you just happen to open the one of, you can send anything else you need. It's any card, so you can send Ray or Rosa to the grave as well. It's any Sky Striker Ace monsters can also be sent. For Sky Strikers, it's definitely a really strong improvement over things like Hayate, which require going second, obviously, to get their effects. It's an incredibly good going first tool. The main issue I see in its current state is how exactly are you getting to it. I know they do have Rosa now, but getting to it could be a bit of a pain for this deck. The deck's always kind of built around Ray, so it'll be interesting to see how. But as far as generic usage, which I think is the more important thing when we're talking about a new Verte, this gives pretty much every deck easy Engage access, provided they can resolve a Kagari. I don't know if that's something that Konami should have made, but they gave it to us, so you're definitely, I think the fact that you've got you got a free Hornet drones from your deck even, or a Widow Anchor going second, is just going to be an incredible tool for a lot of different decks, and you're going to probably see this thing a lot in some combo scenarios, because the fact that it gets easy access to Hornet drones, which means this card is also now 1 card link 3, so that also is a pretty relevant thing as well, on top of the just free removal for no reason. I think this card is absolutely incredible. Is it the next Verte? We're answering that question again. I do think this potentially could be. It does depend on when we get the card, because obviously, you know, we don't, with cards like this, we just have no idea when they're coming to the TCG. But we saw what happened last year with Verte, where it was literally a card that basically you had to have alongside whatever fusion targets, and this card could potentially be that as well when we do get it. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of Sky Striker Ace Camilla down in the comment section down below. Am I overreacting a little bit in this card? Do you think it's as good as I do? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. So Orstorm, signing out.